Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started with day number 20 of my Monster a Day challenge. So I'm going to continue working with paper sculpture, but I've changed up the paper that I'm using. So I've switched to a construction paper. It's called True Ray, and it's made by Paycon, and it's a high quality construction paper. It's not as good as the De La Rowney Camford paper that I've been working with, but it works really well for these paper sculptures, and they're not. It does fade. I mean, it says it's acid free, but it does fade over time, especially whenever it's exposed to light. But I just thought I'd go ahead and switch because I have a wide variety of colors of the True Ray. Excuse me. So I thought I'd go ahead and use that, and but I'm going to do a paper sculpture, kind of working with very similar ideas as yesterday. We'll see kind of if I can get any further. I think I'm going to do the legs and the arms a little bit different. That maybe will be a bit quicker. So anyway, let's go ahead and switch over, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm using True Ray construction paper. So it's 9 by 12 inches, and I think I'm going to do a smaller kind of monster. So what I'm going to do is just make a smaller rectangle, and yeah, about right there. Like I said yesterday, I mean, I could measure if I really wanted to, but and if I have a paper cutter, that's going to make it go a lot quicker. So maybe making it a little bit smaller will kind of help with kind of speeding things up. And I'm going to do very much like I did yesterday, and I'm going to fold it. So again, I can fold this part over and line it up, make a nice crease. If I don't have a bone folder or or some kind of spatula like I have, I could just use my fingernail. That works pretty well. And then we're going to fold this over. Remember, just kind of overlap it a little bit. And that's going to give us our seam. And I did pretty good with cutting it fairly straight. And then a little bit of glue. Still using my Elmer's glue. And then just a little bit of glue. Just a thin, oops, open it up all the way. Just a thin line of glue near the edge, and if I rub it, just smears it out, and then it's going to make it stick so much quicker. And then just kind of seal it up. Get the extra glue off by rubbing my fingers together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make another rectangular prism out of this, and I think it's a little dark. Let me change. Oops, didn't mean to make it beep like that. Let me go ahead and change this and make it a little bit brighter. There we go. That's the thing, you get it all set up and you're like, okay, that looks good. And then actually when you start doing it, you're like, it's a little too dark. Okay, so I've got it flat, and then of course I need to pop it up. If I want it to be a square, again, I can line up the corners, but I don't. I want it to be I want it to be a rectangle. So what I'm trying to do is I want this to be in the middle of the longer side. So again, there's the fold. And then I want this side to be long and this to be short. And then you can flatten that down. Okay. So it kind of bugs me that this isn't quite perfectly square. So I'm going to just trim that up while I have it flat. Okay. And then, this seam is going to go in the back of the paper. So I've got my rectangular prism, and just like I did yesterday, I want to make a mouth on it, and I'm going to flatten it out and then cut across. So kind of think like how big of a mouth. So he's going to be kind of a short, squat monster. And then same thing, like that's going to become the mouth on it. So we'll cut this back off. And just like yesterday, I think I want to go ahead and round that off a bit. And then just do the same thing here. Yesterday I traced it, but today I think I'll just freehand it. Okay. And then, again, that's going to be the kind of bottom jaw, like sticking out. So put a little bit of glue. Let me find that spatula. Find it comes in handy to help hold things sometimes. Okay, so it may have been a mistake to try to put glue on both of these, but we'll see. I'm going to stick this on about halfway. Make sure it's flat. Okay, so there I've got the mouth on. All right. So I want to do legs now. So yesterday I did the cat stairs, and that took a while. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to use the yellow. That's a nice contrasting color. And what I'm going to do, I'm just using one color, and I'm going to do 2 strips. I'm not even going to measure, because it's okay if they're not exactly the same size. You want them to be about the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up little tubes of paper. Basically make like a paper straw. And I'm not going to worry about the pencil marks, because the way I roll this up, I'm going to roll the pencil marks inside of the tube, so I'm not even going to see it. Now, when I do this, they can come out any number of lengths, so there's not really a perfect way of doing this. But when I roll it, I don't want to roll it straight down. I want to actually roll it at an angle, and that's what's going to give it its length. So I'm going to just kind of take this first part and just put a little fold. Just a little tiny fold there that's a little bit diagonal. And then I can take this and take that fold and start to roll it. And it's a little flat at first. But as I roll it, hopefully, it will start to kind of get round maybe. And you can see how it just kind of creates like this spiraling kind of thing. So I'm doing this, and then I've got to glue it. And so what I like to do is to roll it up. Let me just keep it on the table. Maybe that will help. So I like doing this because it actually creates kind of a leg, like a long skinny leg, and it tapers, so it's thinner down here, bigger up here. Okay, so I want to get this glued, so I actually have to unroll it again because I want to put glue on it. And I'm just trying to think like where I want the glue. So I find the glue, all I need is one line of glue. I'm going to put it close to the edge. And then roll it back up. Now sometimes I find that it doesn't quite roll up the exact same way, but I roll it up, and so you can see how that little line of glue is going to just make it stick and create that tube. Now I ended up with glue on me and on the table and on the leg. Okay, so I just want to hold it until it sticks. Sometimes if I put a little extra glue here, spread it out. But the nice thing is that it's a continuous line of glue from, you know, the entire tip, the entire length. So if I need to, I can trim it and it won't unravel. If I need to, I can put a pencil inside and kind of push it, you know, give that a little bit of stiffness so I can make sure that it's stuck. Like this top part, I think it needs to be a little bit tighter. Okay. All right, so there's one, and then we're just going to do the same thing, and I want to kind of do it the same direction and like try to keep the same diagonal if I can. So what I'm doing is when I roll it up the first time, it bends the paper, gives it some memory. That's not a perfect tube. Alright, so I'm going to roll that up. Now if I glued that, you could see that it would end up being much, much longer. So when I roll it up the second time, I'll have to pay attention to that. So I want to unroll it, straighten it out a little bit, and then put my glue on the one side. Okay, so it kind of rolls up, but that's all right because the glue doesn't get everywhere, and that's good. Okay. All right, come on, cooperate. So what I'm trying to do is to have the little segments as it rolls up to be about the same as the other one. I can see it's getting off a little bit. Let's tighten it up a little bit. Okay, so yeah, they're almost the same length. This one's a little bit longer, but not extremely long. So let's go ahead and get that wrapped around. And again, if I just take a pencil, allows me to put the pencil in there and have a little bit of support as I get this end glued. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that actually came out about the right size. All right. So what I like to do is I've got the legs, and then I can go ahead and, if I wanted to, I can trim them, but I'm not going to trim them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to create a fold. Okay, and then do the same thing here, and this will allow me to get them to be about the same length. So if I pinch it and then fold it, okay, and so what I can do is glue that in underneath, and then I've got the monster's legs. So there's a couple different ways to do this. I could cut Actually, that might be good. I have an idea. So I think it'll work. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. Alright, so it's been a long time since I've made a monster like this with these kind of legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the leg, and I got two places I could glue it. I could glue it to the front, or I can glue it to this part, the original prism. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick it in and glue it to the original prism. And actually, I'm going to kind of glue it. Right now it looks like a horn sticking up. Okay. And again, I'm putting the glue on the back. And just doing the same thing. Okay. Just trying to hold it in position. All right. So I'm just holding it until it's stuck. So that the legs will bend. Okay, but if I sit him down, he just kind of wants to fall over. So what I need to do is I need to cut little hole, like part of a hole. And guess I'm going to have to just use the tip of the scissors. So I'm just kind of cutting where the leg needs to go. So I'm kind of cutting out a half a circle, a semicircle. And so that way, the legs will kind of sit in there a little bit better. So he kind of leans a little bit, but that might be kind of cool. Alright, so there's his legs. Let me just see if I can get this folded a little bit better. There we go. That's better. So, now he sits a little bit flatter. Okay. And just trying to think. I did pointy teeth yesterday, so let's do some flat teeth for him. So I'm still kind of deciding how to do the arms, if I'm gonna do tubes or do strips. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. Okay. So just like yesterday, using that spatula really, really helps. Oops. If it doesn't slide off, that is. So I don't think this guy's going to have a tongue. He's just going to have some teeth. Yeah, the little spatula comes in very handy for this kind of stuff. Okay. Got a little bit of glue there where I didn't want it. Okay. So he's got a row full of teeth. Let's see. I'm still trying to think about arms. So let's go ahead and do the eyes. I'm thinking. Got this nice dark purple. So I'm going to do the eyes very similar to what I've done. Actually, yeah, I think I'm just going to do one eye. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, oops. Uses pink. So I think with this guy, I'm not going to have the eye pop out like I did yesterday. I think what I'm going to do is just have it glued flat. I like it sticking above like this. I think a little bit more off of that. That's looking pretty good. Had some glue, dried glue on my finger and it got stuck to the paper there. Oh well. So I was just thinking if I really wanted to, I could always use like a Sharpie or a black marker to draw in the pupil. Oops, it moved. But I like doing stuff just out of paper. All right. That is, if I have some black. Alright, I know I have some. Maybe. Alright, let me go see if I can find it. I didn't quite bring all of it over because I have a whole bunch of it, so that's why I couldn't find any. Thought I had, maybe I would have a little piece. I mean, all I need is a teeny tiny piece. I mean, even that's way too big. Okay, I feel like I'm way off with my cutting tonight. I think that's too small. Alright, take two. No, that's a little bit too big. There we go, that looks a little bit better. You might be able to hear my cat Percy meowing. She goes through that for some reason. I don't know if she gets lonely or what. I have the door closed so that way she can't come in. So I don't know if she's like saying, hey, let me in. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Just need to put that little speck of white, maybe. With the way I'm cutting tonight, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut the little white reflection. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I would normally like, but like I said, I just feel like I feel like I'm fumbling around with my cutting. So make it a little bit bigger, but have it kind of go over into the blue. It'll go on like that. Okay. Just making sure I've got it. Alright, I think I am going to do the tubes for his arms. Okay, but I'm not going to use the whole thing. I don't want super long arms. So if I fold it, I can get something that's half the size. Okay, do the exact same thing as we've done before. Kind of fold it over to get it started. Okay. Unroll it. Time for glue. Alright, that got a little messy. It's almost as long. Like, you can't really see it, but it's almost as long as the leg. It's just because the way I rolled it up. It's, yeah. That's alright. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Alright. Roll it up, unroll it, put the glue on. And roll it back up. Okay. So those are a little long, so what I'm going to do is cut them off. Not too much. Okay. So I'm going to do like I did with the legs. I'm going to flatten it and I'm going to fold it. So flatten it and fold it. Okay. Really make sure that's flattened. So I'm going to put the glue here. And then I'm going to stick it on the side here. And so that folded part acts as a tab, as a little flap to get the glue down. And so there, he's got a little arm on there. Do the same thing over here. Just want to try to get it in about the same position. Okay, so he's got 2 arms and 2 legs, and he sits up. Okay. Let's do some feet and some hands. So I think, just trying to think of kind of hands and feet. I'm almost thinking like kind of chicken feet. What I've done sometimes is I'll make little toes the same way and kind of roll them up and glue them all together, but that would take a little while. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit easier to do. Just trying to think of. Okay, so we got some couple feet. And then I'm just going to pinch and bend these up. Little dot of glue on the end. So I like those feet, little bird-like feet. And then a hand. I need some hands. I think I'll kind of do them very similar, kind of like that style. I think that might work. You know what, he's got, I don't like that. I was trying to do a thumb. I wanted that to be a thumb, but it just looks kind of weird. So then I'm going to cut that off. Maybe make this one a little bit shorter. Okay. And the nice thing about these arms is that I can bend them, give them a little bit of an elbow. He's just making me chuckle. Okay, so I want to do some horns and then maybe some hair. So horns, I think I want to have them uneven. So I'm just going to cut them out individually. If I wanted them to be the same, I could, if I wanted them to be the same, I could have folded the paper and cut them out the way I did the hands and the feet. So I'm not going to try to make these round or anything like cones, or it's really hard to do. So I think just having them flat, and then I'm going to fold a little flap at the end. And so then it can stick out on the sides. Yeah, he's definitely kind of cracking me up. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. I want to give him some hair because I've got this big empty spot up here, which, you know, when you look at it from a certain way, it's not a big deal. But I just, you know, he's got a hollow head. He's empty up there. So I think what I want to do, so I've got this purple here. It's a slightly different color maybe. Or, you know what? I think I'm going to do black. I like black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bunch of strips. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one big strip. And then I can cut there's all kind of ways to do hair, but this is an easy way. So I could just, you know, glue it so it sticks straight up, but that's a little boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl it a little bit. I did this yesterday. If I just use my scissors. Again, I don't have to open them. I'm not curling ribbon, so I can just use this because this has a sharp edge. I'm just going to pull it. It curves it. So let me just do a bunch of these real quick. So what I like to do is to have some that curl just in one direction, to go around the outside of the head. And then I'll have some that curl back in the other direction to kind of cover or fill in the rest of it. So I'll wait with the rest of that. But now what I can do is take this, and all I'm going to do is put a dot of glue. And then it goes in there. And I can kind of have it come straight up, or I can angle it a little bit. Definitely like near the sides. If I have it angled a little bit, it will help. So when I put the next ones on, I'm going to leave a little space. So I can even do a couple on the sides. And one thing about his legs bending is I can easily flip him over, because his legs kind of straighten out a little bit. Okay. Need a few more of these. Okay, so that should give me enough to go all the way around one time. So, I could leave it like that. But I don't know. I think I want it to be, I think I want some more on there. So I'm going to curl it, but I think when I put it in, I'll put it in the other way. So it kind of will fill in the head shape. I don't know. I probably have to cut more of these, but we'll see. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it in so it curls back toward the middle. So I'm going to put the glue on the other side. And the nice thing is I had left these, little space in between. So now I can kind of fill in those little gaps. Actually, I might have enough. Oops. As I get more of the hair on, it's a little bit more difficult to reach in and get it glued where I want it to. So you can see how the hair starts to curl over the top of the head. Just makes it harder to see the opening of the prism that's underneath it. Okay, so there's hair's done. I mean, I haven't totally filled it in, and I can still, if I look real close, like, oh yeah, I see that, but it just kind of, oops, as I'm like holding it up and you can't see it. So when I look in there, it's like, yeah, I can still like see inside and stuff, but just, gives it a bit more of a fuller look. And I just realized that down here, this little curve that I trimmed out earlier isn't quite big enough. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so I'm going to call him done. I could still do some other details like spots and stuff, but I think the main part is I really wanted to show a different way of doing the arms and the legs, and then add details like the hair and the horns. So I've done spots before with the collage, so if you want to put spots on, just like I did for the collage. But anyway, yeah, so I've got my little monster guy there, and yeah, so that's day number 20. Yeah, so day number 20. Hope you enjoyed this little paper monster. Tune in tomorrow. I'm going to hopefully go live if my internet holds up. So, anyway, I hope you've been having fun watching, hopefully making monsters. If you've just been watching, that's great too. But love to see what you've been making. So, share, tag me. Love to see it. Um, so thanks again for tuning in for another Monster a Day, number 20, only 11 left. So, thank you so much, and as always, happy creating.